Hey guys, welcome back to class. Oh, that's got an echo to it. Um, Welcome back to Comp 1. We're going to take a look at the drafting process today. So in the last video, we talked about pre-writing. So pre-writing was that stage where we're kind of getting everything together and trying to figure out what we want to write about. So as we get into the drafting process, drafting is more about putting that pre-writing together. And so as we begin to do that, we have to think about, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to use this drafting process? So as we draft, we have to use this process because it helps us communicate what we're trying to write about. The things that we came up in that pre-writing stage, it allows us to put it together in that process. So when we draft, we are going to use a thesis, and we're going to include supporting details. So I'll include a definition of what a thesis is here. Hopefully you're familiar with that. But a thesis is kind of like our roadmap. It allows us to tell our reader what we're going to be doing with our writing. So some common elements you may see in a drafting process, it's going to heavily rely on that pre-writing. Okay, so the things that we've already accomplished, we're going to rely on that. We are going to start working through our ideas. We're going to see what works, what doesn't work. We're going to rely heavily on revision. And we're going to understand and build that understanding that drafting is not about perfection. This first draft, this rough draft, is meant to be rough, okay? You're not meant to have perfect writing at this point. We'll work on that as we get to these stages. But right now, it's more important just to get it down and out of your head and onto paper or onto that document. As we go back to look at our pre-writing, we want to go back and revisit those notes we created. We want to draft our thesis statement. We may take us a couple times to really get that idea solidified. And then we got to keep this idea, we got to keep pushing on. We got to have that persistence. As I said, that drafting is going to rely heavily on revision. So as we go to revise, we're going to think about things like, does your thesis still make sense? Did you support your thesis? How well organized is everything? What further research needs to be done? Okay, so some of the questions we might ask ourselves to put ourselves in check. And so the big question always is, where do I start? I don't know where to start. How do I get started? The best place to always start at anything is to start where you know. What do you know? What's right about it? Then we're going to come back and look at, what did we write in that pre-writing? What brainstorming did we come up with? We're going to utilize that. And then we're going to start dividing what we have to do up into pieces, because it's going to make it manageable. It's going to make us more successful, so we don't have to knock it all in one chunk. Because it's better to look at these as small pieces, small steps that we have to take, versus having to knock it all in one chunk. So as we start to write what we know, you need to start writing what comes to your mind. We have valuable experience that we've had and gone through. We need to write about it. To start out with, write about it in any order that you have. Writing, like I said, we're not looking at perfection, so we just need to get it down and get it out of our brain. It may be helpful for you to journal your thoughts. It may be helpful to write about some research that stands out to you. And last, make sure you go where your mind wants to take you. For most cases, remember, take your time. Write one section per day. Make sure to give yourself plenty of time to be able to walk away from it, because you need to be able to process things. You need to be able to think about those as you are writing, so you can give yourself time. You don't have to feel stressed. You don't have to write with anxiety. As you go through it, consider reorganizing your content, and make sure that we're keeping our content cohesive. So I'm going to put up a little graph here talking about supporting details. Supporting details come in different facets. So we have anecdotes, analysis, descriptions, examples, facts, and reflections. Those are all things that we can use to support. As we work through the content, you will you will start to become more familiar with those. You can reference your book for more details, but hopefully you already a little familiar with those words. Next, we're going to talk about signpost words. So, words like therefore, also, in addition, however, for instance. Those kind of allow us to direct our ideas and where we're going. And then to wrap this up, organization is important. Organization is going to allow us to show our tone and the style in which we're writing. It's going to give our readers that direction that we've been talking about. So that's it for this lesson here, the drafting process. So as we move forward, we're going to go look at the revision process next, and we're going to talk a little bit about to separate the differences between revision and editing. And so think about that as you go to watch the new video and start to be able to process that, because it's an important process as we go to write. I will see you guys in the next video. Once again, please reach out if you have any questions. Of course, at the end here, you'll have my email and my office number. So please reach out if you need anything, and catch you in the next one.